We've got a new comprehensive study published just this week, which relied on an analysis of tens of millions of years of atmospheric records trapped in layers of the Earth's subsurface, found that the world is currently on track to hit a warming threshold it has not witnessed in more than 34 million years, which I think takes us back about halfway to the T-Rex, just to put it in perspective. For only the second time in recorded history, 5 tropical cyclones are spinning across the Atlantic at the same time, including Hurricane Sally that Gary mentioned, making landfall now. Hurricane Paulette continuing to batter Bermuda, while Tropical Storm Teddy threatens to become a hurricane later this week. I love acknowledging these records like the second time ever, only because they change so much. You're never gonna run out of these records being broken. For instance, the Northern Hemisphere just had its hottest ever summer, breaking the record set last year. I can't wait until next summer when we get to say the exact same thing. That'll be fun, won't it? And an enormous chunk of Greenland's ice cap has broken off in the far northeastern Arctic, a development that scientists say is evidence of rapid climate change. But don't worry, it was only 110 square kilometers. And it would be obviously cheaper to take this seriously than to pay for all of the damage. How many times is Louisiana going to be battered by storms over the next 50 years? What is going to happen to Florida? Think of decades of fires in California. Think about the damage that'll be done to our ability to do farming as more and more of the interior of our country turns into a big pile of dust. It would be so much, not only more responsible, more moral, wiser, but economically a far better idea. And unfortunately, they seem to be making the calculation that, well, if Louisiana gets hit, we don't even really have to help them rebuild, Like Puerto Rico, where was the aid for that? It took a huge amount of public outcry for a minimal amount of aid to go to them. And so I guess they feel like they could save a lot of money because a lot of the people being hit by these sorts of things aren't necessarily people that they feel like they're gonna get votes from anyway.
Well, in Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana went for Trump. And so I think they should ask themselves the question, is the president, does he have your best interest at heart? And showing up and telling people that he'll sell you, that you can sell his signature isn't having your best interest at heart, because that's not gonna fix your house. 10,000, even if a Trump signature was worth $10,000, it's not enough to do the repairs on a house that's damaged by a hurricane to the sum of $70,000, $80,000, and not to mention people who've lost almost everything in their homes a lot of times.
So have you talked to any of these people? Like, as it's getting worse year by year, the storms keep coming. Do they accept that something is happening, or do they just think that there's always been hurricanes?
I think that is the logic, we've had storms before. It's not that big a deal, that's the cost of living in Louisiana. No, the storms are worse. They've gotten progressively worse over the years. And when you look at, 2 in the Gulf at the same time, when you're preparing on both sides of the state, normally when a hurricane is coming, there's a portion of the state that gets to go to another area of the state or to another state around. But when you've got storms coming in both directions, that the entire state, Louisiana's not a massive state, okay? 2 storms probably potentially covered the entire state. And when you talk about the potential of that type of damage to a state that's number 50 in the nation, right? Recovery doesn't happen easy here. And we discovered that from Katrina and Rita, right? Which hit West Louisiana around the same time. We have to learn these lessons, but more importantly, we've got to look at the data. In God we trust, everybody else bring data. Republicans love to say that they're Bible thumpers. Well, trust God, but everybody else bring the data, right? And the data says that this is a problem.
Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting next 50 years or so, assuming we make it. And by the way, also all of those people having to flee to another part of the state in a time of a massive, deadly pandemic, obviously a lot more difficult to achieve. Like, imagine if you had to have, interstate, like people fleeing to Texas or something like that. Like, I hope that other states allow, people to flood in from other cities. Will they? Who knows?
Right. Lafayette, Louisiana, which is, an hour away from Lake Charles, did not let people open a shelter in Lafayette. You don't even have to go to Texas. You can go to other cities in the state where the mayor would say no, right? Republican Josh Guillory would not let the residents of Lafayette, of Lake Charles, open a shelter there in his city.
God.
He's a Trump supporter, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Shock.
Wouldn't take care of his neighbor.
Yeah. If only there was a book that laid out all of these moral truths that we should base our life around. It's convenient to read part of it, not the rest. Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I take any other book. Base your life off of 50 Shades of Grey before Facebook. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.